Birthday Howell, birthday Al Shai, birthday Howell, birthday Al Shai, birthday Howell, birthday Al Shai. All praises unto Yahweh Shemi Al Shai, Wahar Rakakadash, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, honest you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity for the full corners of the earth. So this video is going into the American economy, and I saw this title, and I wanted to do a video on some of the stuff that's being said here. Okay, so the overall thing that's being said in this particular article is that pretty much a lot of people are basically that the bottom half, that is the middle class and the poor of America, are pretty much spending, but they're spending on credit, and they're spending a lot more than what they really have in reality. So you're seeing you're seeing a boom in the economy via the spending, but in actual fact, what's being spent is the credit. All right. So and they say third world America because when you see the issues that they're listing here that could happen as a result, well, you understand why it's being called third world America, because that's the future of America. All right. The American economy, when you go into what the elites want to do, and you read the scriptures like the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter and the 16th verse, where the mark of the beast is going to be implemented, then you can come to the conclusion that this economy is going to be crashed. And they're using the bottom half, if you will, of which is really the majority. All right, they're using the majority of the people outside of the 1%, to crash this economy by way of auto loans, by way of credit card loans, by way of mortgages. Okay, that's how they're using this thing of the economy. They're using the people to basically crash the economy. All right, so let me get into this. It says for maybe the best example of how the financial trends are diverging at the opposite ends of the wealth spectrum, contrasts the cash flowing into the accounts of the already rich with the debt accumulating in the accounts of the bottom half. Okay, so that's pretty much self-explanatory. It says mortgage, Groupon, and card debt. How the bottom half, bolsters the U.S. economy. By almost every measure, the U.S. economy is booming. That's what they're saying. But a look behind the headlines of roaring job growth and consumer spending reveals how the boom continues in large part by the poorer half of America fleecing their savings and piling up debt. So the recent growth that you had, whenever you have it to where you got certain particular tax cuts implemented by, Trump, or you got it to where you got a situation where they're trying to boom, prop up the economy, what happens is people don't go out there and they spend the money that they got. If you're setting up a business, you don't just use your savings, you use what's known as a business loan. All right. So on the face of it, you might be thinking, okay, America is getting better, but in reality, it's getting worse. Okay, and with really Trump's whatever he put in place, that's like one of the reasons why it's getting worse, because people are spending more, but they're really spending more debt. Okay, it says a Reuters analysis of U.S. households data shows that the bottom 60% of income earners have accounted for most of the rise in the spending over the last 2 years, as their finances worsened. And that's the perfect description of America right now, because you got this economy where people have got some kind of money, but they're spending a hell of a lot more than they really have. Okay, and it's really the poor that's doing it. All right, and they drive the poor to be spending and spending and spending so that they could crash this economy. Right now, I'm not no economist. I can't give you the numbers like how an economist does that. You can watch their videos for that. I'm just merely here to couple what's happening out there within the news with what the scripture says. How that there was going to be a mark that everyone was going to receive, because you wasn't going to have no other way of getting food. But if you got it to where you got an economic system, well, you don't need the chip. You don't need the RFID chip when you got the existing economic system. You can't force it on me. I've got, what's recognized as cash. However, when you go to where currencies fail and the only other solution out of that is the mark of the beast, well, people are going to be taking that up. Right? So it says a break with a decades-old trend where the top 40% had primary fueled consumption growth. With borrowing costs on the rise, inflation picking up, and the effects of Trump's tax cuts set to wear off, a negative shock, a further rise in gasoline prices or a jump in the cost of goods due to the tariffs that they put on China could push those most vulnerable over the edge, some economists warns. And this is all strategically planned. All right, you could have it to where there's just a minor surge in gasoline prices or the adjustment due to the tariffs that they put on China could lead these a whole bunch of, really, you could have a whole another 2008, all right, just based off of that, because a hell of a lot of these people, a lot of people are living by the paycheck, man. You see a whole bunch of so-called middle-class people out there within the United States and below. They're living paycheck to pay off what? Debt. Okay, a whole bunch of people got all kind of student loans, all kind of car loans, all kind of mortgage loans. Ain't nobody got money like that anymore, except for them high, like they're saying from this article, the 40%. But really, it's the elites. They're the ones that really have money. Because even if you was to look at that 40%, you're going to find a lot of those people got a whole bunch of debt. They're just not as bad as the serfs. Okay, so it says, this in turn could threaten the second longest U.S. expansion, given consumption makes up 70% of the U.S. economy's output. The Reuters analysis reveals growing financial stress among lower income households, even as their contribution to consumption and broad economy grows. So basically, they got more problems because they're spending more. Okay, the data shows that the rise of the median expenditures has outpaced before tax income for lower 40% of earners in 5 years. Now, I really have to be an economist to really try to figure out what that's talking about. But I'll carry on. It says, while the upper half has increased its financial cushion, deepening income disparities. It is this recovery paradox, a hot job market and other signs of economic health encourage rich and poor alike to spend more, but a tepid wage growth for many middle class and lower income Americans means they need to dip into their savings or borrow more to do that. As a result, over the past year, signs of financial fragility have been multiplying, with credit card and auto loan delinquencies on the rise and savings plunging their lowest since 2005. Okay, so that's the future of America, man. A third world country. Okay, by way of this economy. Okay, spending too much, spending more than you have. I remember when you go to where the so-called poor and the middle class make up the vast majority of the Americans. So when they what's known as a delinquency, that's when you don't pay your bills. Okay, that's when you don't pay your bills. So when you go to where people ain't paying their bills, you have foreclosure. But foreclosure leads to more foreclosure. Okay, which is gonna then you got your crash. Then you got their solution, which is gonna be what? The chip. Okay, so hopefully that was the of edification. With that, I'm gonna say all praises unto Yahweh, Shemi Ashai, Wahar Kadash, double honors unto the apostles, a great millstone, ownership of pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.